You are listening to Vessel of Light. I'm Sam Renfro, Reiki Master, Fascial Maneuvers Coach, and someone who believes the body is not separate from the spiritual path. It is the spiritual path. This show lives at the intersection of two worlds that have been kept apart for too long: the wisdom of the spirit and the intelligence of the body. Every episode, we ask not just how to open what's been closed, but why it closed in the first place. If this feels alive for you, the Fully Human Collective is a free community that I create where we go deeper on exactly this. You can find the link in the show notes. Now, take a deep breath and let's begin. All right, welcome back. So today I want to talk about a few things, but the main theme will be perseverance. So this is something that's been coming to me because it's pretty personal in my life and what I'm learning and what I'm going through, what's been challenging me. And it's something that I think has kind of been the thing that I've run away from, that I've been afraid to do for a long time in my life, because I didn't truly have that purpose that I wanted to give all my attention to and all my energy forward into that one direction. But I think it's become increasingly more and more apparent that it's the main thing that I need to work with. And what I'm realizing is I've seen all of these examples, whether they be more closer to me of people that I know that are actually people that I have interacted with, or the people that we see online on Instagram and magazines, and all the people, the great people of the world that have done something in history. It's like, to a certain extent, I always knew that they had the ultimate level of perseverance, this level of, I'm not going to let anything stop me from achieving my goals and my dreams. But to me, I never wanted to live that quote unquote normal life. And I also looked at all of those people and said they didn't want to either. But there's a certain level of this game of life, of reality, that we have to play to get the things that we want. Because if not, then it can just turn into escapism. And to kind of make this more concrete and to make it more digestible, what I've been noticing is that anyone in life that did anything, that created these opportunities for them, that got invited to go do these events and travel and all the things that I've seen that I want for my life, I think there's this distinction between letting it come to you and happen magically, synchronistically, seemingly out of thin air. It's like, I kind of just thought all those people who got those opportunities were just really, really lucky. And that might be a certain part of it, but you have to put the work in, you have to put the energy forward to be able to create those opportunities for yourself. So for example, I'll share a quick story. About a year ago, my partner invited me to a sound bath that's in San Francisco, and it's in this beautiful cathedral where there's stained glass. It's like this huge, huge spot. The ambiance, the lights, everything is completely amazing. And it's this space that they've essentially converted from being an old church to a place where they hold all different types of events. And we went for a Earth Day sound bath with a group of musicians that are very, very talented. And they, once a month, they collaborate with a different artist. And for Earth Day, they collaborate with the whales. Now, my partner works for an organization that does research for deep sea biology and deep sea animals. And so they collected these samples of the whales where the sound bath practitioners actually used the sounds of the whales as part of the soundscape. So it was really, really cool. But one of the guys who was playing all these instruments, his name was Sam. And I just saw him, and he's older, like I'd say probably in his 50s. And, this room was just filled with people. And they were all just in complete coherence and collaboration, the musicians, I mean. And it was so cool to be able to see the show that they put on. And we actually kept, we brought like eye masks and we kept looking to see like, what instrument is that? Like, what are they doing now? And we were just so blown away. And I thought to myself, that's what I want to be doing when I'm that age. Like, I want to be in these beautiful spaces, curating experiences and music for people to relax and to heal. And just the volume of people that I was just amazed by. And so now here we are about a year later, and the sound bath is coming up again next week. And we're going to go again, but throughout the last year, we've been doing all these events at a local yoga studio at Breath and Oneness. You've probably heard me talk about. We've been doing, all kinds of different sound baths and pairing it with, different yoga and different, all the fascial maneuvers and everything that I teach. And it's been really, really cool to see. And one of my friends who's also a practitioner there is connected with a group that has been doing these pop-ups in a hotel. They have like a residency in the Bay Area. And so we've been doing these events with them. And then seemingly out of thin air, this last minute sound bath for 80 people comes into our hands, where we are now planning like, okay, how are we going to do this sound bath for 80 people? I mean, this is much bigger than anything we've ever done. And we needed other musicians, other instruments. And so we called in the big guns, and, last night, then we made it happen. We had 5 big gongs. We had all of these different gongs to walk around with. We had crystal bowls. We had all of these like chimes and seeds and really, really cool instruments to make it a full experience for all of these people in a ballroom. And it was just like so cool. And I realized in that moment, I was like, wow, throughout the past year, I've been putting my time in, and we've been doing these things to lead up to this moment of like, oh, a year ago I said I wanted to be doing events and sound for a large group of people, and then here it was, it just came in like a year later. And I thought, wow, that's a really cool moment of reflection and manifestation that just came in. And it all came in right after I decided to put my notice in at work. And so I took work off a week early before my notice was even up. And I ended up making twice as much money doing something that I love, not having to work in a job that that I love as well, but just not as much. And I'm realizing that there are other things for me. And so it was just a really cool way to say, no, the reality that you want is not only possible, but it's here right now. And so the message was keep going, keep going, keep going, persevere, keep your persistence up, and everything that you want is just right around the corner. So I thought that was a really cool, it was an amazing experience. But also in the middle of it, having that understanding like, wow, okay, it's working. I'm just going to keep doing it. Now I'm starting to have these opportunities come to me because of the work that I'm doing, because of this podcast, because of the trainings that I've done, and me putting myself out there and saying, this is what I have to offer. And now, because let's just say I'm going to keep going down this road, right? I'm going to keep building upon the offerings that I have, or upon the skills, upon the experience and the knowledge that I've curated. And through all of that, then that gives you a sense of credibility, a sense of a power of these things that you need for other people to notice and say, wow, that's somebody I want to work with. That's somebody that I want to truly invite to what I have created. So when it comes to collaboration, it's like there has to be this give and take. There has to be this, okay, this is somebody that I'm willing to put my energy towards, to be able to back and say, oh, they're going to add value. And I think that's what it comes down to, is adding value and then letting people see you adding value. At least this is what I'm learning in my life. So let's just say that I want to curate experiences in the form of retreats, and where I can invite all these different people and have all these different modalities. Or let's just say that I wanted to live a life full of travel, where I go and work for all these other people that have those retreats, that have those opportunities to me, for me to be able to work in. On both sides of the equation, I'm either not going to invite anybody that I don't know is credible, that I don't know is valuable. I'm not just going to invite like Joe Schmo off the street. I'm going to invite somebody that I trust, somebody that I have seen their journey over time and being like, wow, they're really doing amazing things. And I want to bring that to what I'm creating. And on the other side of it, for me to get invited to those things, they're going to have to see me over time building actually like serious in the thing that I'm doing. They're going to have to have known me or trusted me, or for some reason come across my work and say, wow, they're doing something that is real, that's powerful, that's helping people, that's changing lives, that's creating transformation. It's like making their stamp in the world, you know? And that's the kind of energy that is worthy of being collaborated with. So I'm just noticing it in so many different areas of my life where things might not be happening right now, although I'm starting to see them happen. But in the first beginning stages, you know, you're kind of in that process of you have to be, like I spoke on one of the last episodes, you got to be your own coach, your own cheerleader. You got to be able to bring that drive for yourself until you don't have to be, right? And you're always going to want to be in your own corner. But at the same time, once you get to that certain level, then you can have the outside recognition. Then you can have all of the things coming in that you're wanting now. But instead of just beating yourself up over and over again about how nothing's working, nothing's happening, and it's not even worth it, so I should just give up, you have to hold that energy and know with certainty that it's already happening, that it's already coming to you, and that you're building this foundation so that all of those opportunities in the future can come in ways that you didn't even dream of. So this is where the perseverance comes in, right? It's saying, I'm planting the seeds, I'm building for now, so that later all of the things in which I want, which I desire, which I truly know are for me can come. But that's not going to come unless I do the work now. So I think it's really like flipping the script in a way where, yeah, of course, I wanted to float around and be a butterfly and live this very free lifestyle. And I think there is a way in which I can do that and have the things that I want in a much more contained, confident, powerful way that says I'm doing that with purpose, with drive, with focus, and with direction. And that's a completely different energy. And it's a life that's it's deserving of true substance. You know what I mean? Like it has some depth, it has some quality there behind it, has a mission. And so I think that's where I'm noticing all this time right now. I'm putting my time in so that something greater that I can even imagine is going to come. And even just seeing the breadcrumbs, even just seeing the small opportunities in which are already happening is confirmation. Okay, it might have been a rough couple of months, couple of years, whatever, but some of that old you has to completely break down and go into the goo, into the mush, into the chrysalis, um, you have to become the caterpillar, right? So that you can emerge anew and spread your wings into the butterfly and go into that completely different direction. And I would say one thing that's really been helping me lately is, well, two things, but perseverance of the mind. I really want to talk about that because not only is it the mindset, but it's also perseverance to be willing to analyze and understand and listen to the thoughts that are coming in a way that you hadn't before. And this has been one of the most challenging things that I've had to learn how to do. But it's so worth it. And I'm now seeing it start to pay off because each time I have these thoughts that are like the loops that are coming in, normally they would drag you down, down, down until you're in a completely different place of the day where you're like, just not feeling good. I'm not stoked. I have no energy. And, you can get kind of in that more anxious, depressive state pretty quickly where you're like, I was having a good day to begin with, but then something happened and I don't know where I went downhill or what happened. If you can catch some of those thoughts in the first stages of it or in the middle of it and say, are these thoughts coming from love or fear? And when you can identify those thoughts coming from fear, it says, is this actually how I want to operate from? This is actually what I want to believe? Or are these just old stories that are keeping me stuck, keeping me trapped? And are they actually serving the direction that I'm persevering into, the direction that I decided that I'm going because this is where my life over here is leading me to? And there's this beautiful treasure chest waiting over here. But for now, when I'm here, I have to do a little bit of digging, a little bit of excavation of some of these thoughts, some of these fears, some of these anxieties, and you'll know it in your body. This is where we relate it back to the body, because not only do the stories and the patterns live in the body, but also the love. You can feel it. For me, I feel it in my chest, this expansion, this openness, and even the lift in the chest creates the diaphragm to come up in a way where it's like, okay, I don't feel like something's weighing down on me anymore. And between the somatic work that I teach and some of these other things that I'm processing and that I'm getting help with, I'm understanding that, okay, when I catch those thoughts, when I catch the fear coming up in the loops, where do I feel it in my body? Where is my posture like? How is this showing up? And then how am I showing up after, or what situation is causing it? So you can start to, all of that is essentially one question, one category. But if you can start to loop or start to piece together what's actually happening in your body and your mind, and you can either stop those thoughts completely and just pause and have a little gratitude that those are actually signals and signs leading you back home to your body, to yourself, to your true path, then you can really start to make some changes. Or you can just do whatever it is. Maybe place your hands on your heart, close your eyes. I've really been relying on some heart coherence, which I'll talk about in a minute. Anything that you can do, like sometimes I'll just do some fascial maneuvers. I'll shake, like I've talked about in previous episodes where you just release the nervous system. There's so many tools. But when you feel it in your body, or when you feel it in your mind, or you're starting to understand, okay, this isn't coming from love. This isn't the vibration that I want to operate from. If you can boil down where those came from and there's an emotion that needs to be released, then it's really good to actually be able to process those. But if it's just something that's not working for you and you're like, I've already processed it out and I actually just want to change my mind and my habits, then that's great, where you can just pause and just shift completely into a different state of mind. So it depends on where you're at in your journey. It depends on what's happening. It depends on if there's a strong sensation. If there's a strong sensation in the body, where you want to deepen into that, I'm not asking you to spiritually bypass. I'm not asking you to just think different thoughts and that's it. There's a process that needs to happen, but this is where when we start to listen to the body and what signals it's giving us, it will give us a clear direction. And we know that through practice, through attention, through listening. So I would say, going to what I was mentioning with the heart coherence, it's been a beautiful way that I've been practicing lately to come back into my heart, come back into my body, really invite the gratitude. I don't know how many times gratitude has been coming up lately in the last week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, even months and years, but especially lately, I've been getting these little like tidbits, these little things dropped in from different books, different teachers, different whatever, being like, okay, it's time to listen. It's time to actually tune into my heart. And it was a random email that I saw that actually turned into a collaboration with a pretty powerful group. And I'm really stoked on, but it was just a video recommendation on YouTube. It was like this heart coherence meditation that I actually started doing. I actually started practicing. And if you're unfamiliar with what heart coherence is, it's essentially where you invite all of your energy, all of your breath into your heart space. And once you can tune into your heart and really intentionally breathe into that space, then you invite these feel good feelings. Like gratitude is the biggest one, love, anything that really invokes this sense of love and connection within your heart. And the combination of the feelings, the lift of energy, and the attention to the heart brings your heart and your brain into coherence, and your whole body, your whole energy field, everything starts to operate differently, which is really, really cool. And you can feel it. It's been something that I've worked with over the years, picked up, put down. But for me, it's giving me this sense of actually feeling back home in my body and able to imagine my future, what it feels like, what it looks like. And it gives me that time to just start to play. And when you come out of it, you're just in a completely different state of being, which is amazing. Oftentimes we learn from all these different people, and we learn all of these different techniques and these different meditations and these different things that are so complex and so uncomfortable. And it's like, okay, sometimes we just need a little simplicity. Tune into your heart, invite some gratitude, spend 5, 10, 15 minutes there, and then see what happens. And so this is kind of where I think, again, I spoke on a different episode about simplicity and the power of it. But yeah, what can you do that actually makes you feel good and shifts your whole state? It's just like, wow, okay. So these are some things that I am learning. We talked about perseverance of your life, perseverance of the things that you want to achieve, the things you actually want to do, perseverance of the mind and the body, and starting to excavate some of these thoughts, these beliefs, these feelings. And at the same time, the last step is perseverance of your own divinity, your own spirituality, your own connection to God. And this has been the last but most important piece for me. Really feeling rooted in trust and faith in something greater, and having a true co-creation, a partnership, if you will. And this external force to fall back on, to actually know that you're supported in everything that you do. And one of my teachers always mentions, he's like, everything that you do in this physical world, you have to give 100%, everything you've got towards that thing. And then at the end of the day, when all of it fails, then you come back to the creator, and you realize that anything that comes in was a manifestation from the light, from the creator. It's not anything that you did. But you have to do as much as you can to understand that you can't do it on your own. And then everything comes in after that. And it's just like so backwards to how you would think. But I think just remembering that is so powerful, because you can say, well, I have to do as much as I can that is in my power. And at the same time, stay completely humble that whatever is meant for you is just going to find you if you give your time, attention, and focus into it. So the last thing that I'll say is, when you start to hone in and zero in on what you want, this has been another really big piece for me, then rooting out, like really digging all the things out, like unsubscribing, unfollowing all the things in your life and on your Instagram, on your, like everything that you're consuming. Like get rid of all the things that are not pointing you towards your purpose, towards your path. All the externals that are not actually leading you where you want to go. I think in this day and age, it's so increasingly important to capitalize on your focus, on your energy, on your attention, because if you don't, somebody or something else will. I think not only is information a really valuable resource, but attention. Like attention is the thing that everyone is fighting for. They're trying to grab and steal your attention and pull you in 15 or 20 different directions. And if you can start to take your power back, take your control back of your attention and your energy, and point it towards that thing that you ultimately want and know that is meant for you, that's when things radically shift. That's when things come to you. And this is what I am really, really practicing as much as I can, like understanding what do I want, and then what do I need to do to get there? Who do I need to study? What do I need to learn? And like wholeheartedly pointing myself in that direction. Everything else is just noise. And of course, we need a little bit of time for uh, some freedom, for a break, for a little bit of rest and rejuvenation, some play. Like we need time for all those things. But when the balance is off and you're spread thin, it really doesn't help anyone. And then you end up spinning your wheels, getting stuck and getting upset that you're still like just in the exact same place as you were a year ago, 2 years ago, or whatever it might be. So just bringing that back to the body as much as we can. When we're bringing all of our focus and our awareness into this body, we can then be grounded enough to understand what we want, where our attention is going, have that complete power and control over our physical vessels, and then direct ourselves into that in which we want. But we can't do that until we are actually embodied, until we are actually living here in this vessel, until we are understanding what the emotions, what the stuck energy, what the posture is telling us. If we can learn how to be in the body and decode and just sit with and be with those signals, those emotions, that's when we can start to create some real change. This idea of perseverance will be so much stronger and attainable if you are actually embodied. And if you're having some real issues with your body, whether it be gut health issues or some neck tension or some shoulder issues or hips that are tight or whatever it might be, if that's your main focus, if that's where you're like, my body's kind of yelling at me right now, like perseverance into that is going to look and feel a little bit different. But until you start to understand and bring that attention into what's been trying to get your attention, it's kind of like that catch 22, right? You have to listen before you can speak. So if your body is trying to get your attention and trying to get you to listen, like that's step number one. And this is exactly why I created the Fully Human Collective, because I believe that it all starts with the body. I believe that when we bring our awareness into the body, we start to release what's been keeping us stuck. We have more freedom in our body, then that translates to freedom in our life. So the body is the key. Actually, the body is the map and you are the key. And when you give yourself permission to fully be with what's there, then you give yourself permission to live your life as the creator intended. So I'll just leave you with that and come check it out. I created a course on body and energy awareness. So I teach you really how to come in to understand how the body is communicating with you, to really be with what's there, to create the connection into the earth, and then to work with all of the energy around you. And those two things alone are going to set you up for a really, really new perspective going forward. And then I teach you how to release everything once we understand what's here. So I will see you in there. Come join me. There's a group of beautiful souls, and the link is in the show notes. Have a beautiful day, and I will see you very soon.